Hello everyone. So in this one I want to talk about collecting. And is collecting actually sustainable as a thing to do? By which I mean specifically, is it something that we can expect to make money from? Now, of course, I've made a video like this before where I asked a similar question, if not the same question. But I think recent events have kind of changed my attitude on things a little bit. I really do land more now on the perspective that collecting is good for personal use. It's good to have a personal collection of trinkets and and odd things that you like. Games, video games, movies on disc or VHS if that's your thing. It's good to have a collection of whatever it is that you want, but collecting in general has took a turn for the worse over the past couple of years in that there is too much focus placed on money, too much focus placed on it, whether or not you can actually financially benefit from collecting things. It is expected that you are able to flip. It is expected that you're able to flip and make a profit every single time. And that money has to constantly go up and up and up and up every time that you flip. And Pokemon is a fantastic example of this. There is too much, and I mean way too much, focus on profit for a game that is about playing. It has rules, it has things that are supposed to be enjoyable. Obviously, not every card is for the players, some of it's for the collectors, but in general, it is a game that is to be played. Pokemon aside, though, collecting in general right now is very expensive. I looked up whether or not there was a Dragon Quest, what was it? A Dragon Quest TCG. And there is. And because it's Japanese exclusive, normally Japanese stuff in Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Drops the value quite significantly. But because it's Japanese exclusive, it's ridiculously expensive. And there's lots of things like that. Now, these things are not the most valuable thing in the world. They're not, I would argue gold and silver is probably the most precious resource that we've got because it's quite finite until we get to space. And it's a resource that is quite useful. But what do Pokemon cards contribute? What do Yu-Gi-Oh cards contribute? What do any of these things contribute to the world apart from hyping up the current bubble of like it's like a financial circle, like a belief, a faith, a market, in other words, of these specific things being worth what somebody thinks it's worth, or a group of somebody's think it's worth. And in the end, it may not be worth that at all. It might be worth nothing if it was ever worth anything at all. So, of course, there is the argument that, yes, well, despite that, you should jump on any opportunity that you can and make as much money as you possibly can. I've argued to death against this position because it puts people at risk. It puts people in danger of exploitation. It puts people in danger of actually losing things that they cannot afford to lose. And indeed, other bigger YouTubers have went to conventions and they've seen exactly this. They have seen that there is a huge number of people who are taking out massive down payments and taking out massive loans in order to get ahead in collecting, whether it's Funko Pops, cards, whatever it may be, stamps perhaps. Stamp collecting seems to be a much more quiet one. And there are, of course, people who are willing to exploit them, such as scalpers and scammers and people who are selling fake products. counterfeiters, I guess that would be. In the end, people say, well, it's a huge opportunity, it's a huge potential win, and you'll take your losses, and perhaps that's the way that things ought to be, but I don't agree. I think it's reckless. I think it's senseless to put yourself in a situation where you are risking significant amounts of your money and significant amounts of your time, really, because time is the one thing that we are all limited by. And we cannot control how much time we have. What we can do is control how we spend that time. And it's a big reason why I'm not covering Pokemon anymore. I mentioned it in my nostalgia video, which just got uploaded as of the time of this. And we just need to think about the long term. And that's something as humans that we're not very good at. Now, you can call me the counterpoint to a lot of the hype men out there who are trying to say that you should always, 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 always risk the farm, risk everything, because there's so much to gain. I will always say risk nothing. If you can't afford to lose it, don't lose it. Don't kill yourself. Don't destroy yourself. Don't get in debt for the sake of a collection. A collection is supposed to be fun, enjoyable. You're not supposed to make a profit from it. You're supposed to lose money from it, if anything. It is this recent antiqueness of trinkets, of silly things, as a lot of people would probably refer to them as back in the day. Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, is the biggest ones that I can think of. Figures, collectible miniatures, Warhammer, all of these things. They used to lose money because there wasn't a bubble. There wasn't a speculative bubble. It was just the thing is worth what it's worth. But now there is such a huge speculative bubble that it's kind of scary, to tell you the truth. Like I say, I was feeling kind of nostalgic for, again, it hits everyone. Knowing how to counter it is the point. And knowing how to ask the question, am I being manipulated? That is the point. At least it was the point of the last video. It hits all of us because it's intrinsic, it's part of human nature. But I was feeling nostalgic. And I looked up Go-Go's Crazy Bones. £50 for what? Like 20, 25 Go-Go's Crazy Bones. Now, to some of you, that may sound like a good deal. These are Go-Go's Crazy Bones. People threw them against each other and threw them at the wall and threw them at everything. And the disclaimer said, may have chunks and gashes and all of these things missing from them. So, of course, they've been played with, but they're charging premium collector prices. That's just one example. There are many, many hundreds of examples you could use over the years, especially recently, where the prices of things like Pyrex was the example I gave in that video, is through the roof because speculation on the thing runs up and up and up. And now we've got actual non-grey market or non-online store sites selling the thing for the price that the online market is selling it for. That's a dangerous precedent, by the way. And it's the kind of precedent that leads nowhere good. It leads to a situation where there is undue confidence in the product that shouldn't be there. And somebody, when the music stops, is going to be holding these heavy bags of whatever the collectible is, and they're going to suffer for it. They're going to be stuck with it for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Not everything is Pokemon. Not everything goes up over time. Not everything actually is scarce because people are opening and destroying it. No. Sometimes the thing is worthless. Sometimes the thing is finite. Sometimes the thing comes back from the grave and is infinitely actually there. Like 10 years ago, if even that, for the ASMR channel that I was running, I was looking for Go-Go's Crazy Bones, and I found sealed packets of 2010s, I think it was, Go-Go's Crazy Bone revivals. Pretty rare now, but they're out there still, and they'll be hugely marked up because the market is supply and demand. And at the end of the day, people use this to justify that the market is never wrong. The market's wrong all the fucking time. What are you talking about? The market's wrong about stocks all the time. The market's wrong about trades all the time. The market's wrong about everything all of the fucking time. So why isn't it wrong about collectibles? Well, it is wrong about collectibles, and I can tell you why it's wrong about collectibles, because it was wrong about Beanie Babies. This is a brilliant point that Frank from Frank's Hobbies brought up before in his video about a similar topic. Beanie Babies are an example of what happens when speculation goes wild, or when companies lean too much into speculation. They lean too much into the what if, the rarity, how rare the thing is. Turns out, the really rare Beanie Baby everybody wanted, there's a whole fucking warehouse full of it. Who cares? Nobody cares. Everybody's got one now. In their shed or whatever. They crashed the market because they went too hard into the wrong product. It happens all of the time in business, in everything. Once you form that speculative, what I would call pseudo kind of incestuous relationship with your own customers. Yes, it is rare. No, it's not. It's cardboard. No, it's not. It's a piece of plastic. But they want you to believe it's rare. Once you form that, you will create the biggest downfall in history. And all collectibles, especially the ones that are sold constantly, like cardboard, like specifically like Pokemon, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Not so much Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, but back in the day. All of these things are highly, highly prized, highly collectible. When they're stored as they are, when they are stored sealed and left alone, the Rudy method. When they're left to gain value from rarity and scarcity, actual scarcity, not perceived scarcity, actual scarcity, that's when they gain value and you can gain profit from it. That's the long game. Nobody plays the long game. And unfortunately, the collector's market is stupid. It wants a quick flip. Quite honestly, if you found a listing for Go-Go's Crazy Bones and you said, no, actually, I want to buy it for £20, say they were listing it for 50. I want to buy it for £20. They would say, yeah, sure. Why not? £25. That's a huge knock off of the price that they are currently asking because it's speculative. It's them speculating it. They are the only seller of that thing, that specific kind of niche of that product. And it's not in particularly good nick. And you can get yourself some deals, I guess. But this has always existed. Always, always, always existed. There's always been exploiters of any given market. And the collector's market right now is the hot topic one. It's the one that everybody is so excited about, so ravenous about. Look at Funko Pops, they're dead. They're dead. Stores are full of them. They can't get rid of them. The rare exclusive ones, the loot box ones, or the loot crate ones, they're everywhere now. With the loot crate little sticker on it. Because somebody bought Overstock and now they're selling it. It goes into the public, and now Funko Pops, they're pretty much dead at this point. May make a revival, as some things do. I'm not saying that these things are absolutely, completely worthless, not worth the paper or the plastic they're printed on. I'm saying they're not long-term assets. And they shouldn't be treated like long-term assets. Especially things that break, things that easily are damaged, things that they rely on something else to exist. Like, for an example, as we found recently with the PlayStation thing, they're ending support for PlayStation media, digital media rather, online very soon. And when they end that market, they also do exactly what Nintendo did. They kill support for downloading it online. They kill the market for all of it. Just all the whole market. They kill it all. And when they do, you can't play your games anymore. So your collectible video games that have half the game downloaded on the disc and half the game online, well, they're not going to be half playable either. They're going to be not playable. This is a reality check. A real, proper reality check. But one that has been overdue for so long in all of this. Collectibles have value to you. They have value to your heart. I can't say it, I'm doing. They have value to your heart. They have value to your family. They have value to your friends. But they don't have value in the broader sense. They don't infinitely go up because the market wants them to infinitely go up. Nothing lasts forever, all bubbles pop. And in the end, if you're the one caught stuck with the overstock of all of this, you're going to be the person hurting for it, because you probably took out, statistically speaking today, you probably took out a loan to get those things. You probably started an LGS, and now you're stuck with overstock, and you're going to sell to somebody who's going to buy all of your stuff for, at best, 70%. We just can't keep going like this. We can't. Collectibles are not it. Collectible things, sure. We can say, this went up. Price of silver teaspoons went up. The price of Pokemon cards went up. Price of this went up and went down. That's the market doing market things. In other words, it's bullshit. It's noise. What we can do is we can look at the situation and go, I am not comfortable playing in that kiddie pool. I don't want to be part of that. And indeed, right now, there are big YouTubers out there who are looking at the situation, looking at what is going on with the Pokemon 30th, for example, just as another example, this isn't about Pokemon specifically, and they're saying, I don't want to play. The risk is too high. I can't get enough of it. No. No, thank you. There are people who have played Pokemon for all of their lives who are saying, sorry, I am out. I'm not paying £70 for this item. Because mostly, and it is, to tell you the truth, kind of sad, the collectability of these things goes down when we see a Beanie Baby situation, when we see overinflation of the market, to the point where the bubble is so ready to burst It's going to be dramatic when it does, but it's kind of scary. And the antithesis to this is Yu-Gi-Oh! They reprint everything to oblivion, and they make maximum profit from it. And they enjoy that as a strategy. They don't let the secondary market rule them with an iron fist. They don't let scalpers rule them. Maybe that'll change, but as of this video, and as of the past 5-10 years, that's always been true. Perhaps a little bit more recently for the rapidness of reprints, perhaps the last 5 years. But in general, can't go on. Collectibles cannot go up and up and up forever. If they do, then nobody gets to collect them anymore. The market's dead. You eat the food source of the original thing so much, you drain it to the point where there's nothing left. Then everything else dies. And guaranteed, maybe it's in 2 years, maybe it's in 5 years, maybe it's in 10 years, maybe it's in 20 years. The bull market ends. Pokemon comes to us with its tail between its legs. Please, please, we've somehow blown for our billions. And mostly, we will say, fine, come back then. Sure, why not? But some of us remember. Some of us remember being hurt. We say sorry. We got Monster Patch coming out. We got God knows how many other games that are just like Pokemon's nostalgic era, but better, in my opinion. Our World is getting its own card game soon. Don't know if that's going to be any good or not, but it might be. We just need to say no. That's it. So I'm not paying those prices. It's that simple. And to stop looking at profit. That's it. That's the biggest thing. Stop looking at profit. Stop looking at how much you can profit from it. Now, as I said before, as a story in general, like a mini story time, I guess, I sold Pokemon cards for what the market said it was worth. What I learned was that the market's completely stupid. Because it wasn't worth that. But people bought it for that. If I undersell, some asshat's going to take the card and resell it for a profit. So you're forced to work with the market if you're selling Pokemon cards. The sensible thing to do is say, I'm not having any of it. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing it. Stepping out. Not buying anything. You can just do your own thing, guys. Apologies about the camera moving now. So yeah, that's the safest thing to do. That's the most sensible thing to do. And it's the only way to stop this bubble from getting bigger. If we can my attitude has always been, can we deflate this a little bit? Not can we burst it? My attitude now is, can we burst it, please? Can we give people some humble pie, because this is not okay. This is a level of growth, and I don't mean positive growth. I mean negative growth. Like the kind of growth that when it bursts, and it will burst, it's starving people out of the game. It's starving people out of the Pokemon ecosystem. It's making long-term fans no longer a fan of Pokemon. And they're looking elsewhere, and there's never been more creature catching and creature collecting games out there than there is today. And that's just one example. Another one, like I said, Tupperware. And it's all looking very Beanie Baby-ish. From what I've read about the Beanie Baby stuff. It's all looking like what I said before. The market's being manipulated, people are being manipulated. And if it doesn't stop, the collectibles market will die. And I'm talking about this specific paper, cardboard, plastic market that we're in. Notice how nothing else is doing this? Like, so far as I can see, model trains are not going up. Obviously, with inflation and time and everything like that, sure. Manufacturers of model trains put their prices up, like everybody else, of course. It's not 120 times. 120%. That is what the current ETB price is. And it's not to, I'm not even getting into the premium stuff. It's not to that level. Nowhere near that level. There are so many other hobbies that we could get engaged in. There are so many other franchises we could enjoy. But we stick with the stuff we know. And the stuff we know hates us. Or at least the corporations behind stuff that we know and love hate us. What can we do about it? Well, we can stop participating. Simple as that. And it's not actually that simple. Especially when you're in LGS, you can't just step away from Pokemon. People want Pokemon. So what's the solution? Well, ease away from it. And when you're collecting, just ask what you are willing to pay for it. When it comes to things that are very popular right now, like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And One Piece and all of these other card games, yeah, just know that you're probably not going to get it. Full stop. Ever. For the price that you want it. But for other things, yeah, sure. And the reason you're never going to get it is because the market inflates things so much. And it makes it so that certain levels of value hold. And that's the market behaving properly. But when it behaves improperly, and it allows exponential growth, there's no such thing as exponential growth. Remember that. The only thing that exponentially grows is bacteria. And even then, they die off after they have experienced exponential growth. Biology guy, can you tell? They, when things get this bad, you've just got to reality check yourself and just say, like, look, it's a Pokemon card. I'm not paying that. It's a this. I'm not paying that. Collecting becomes a luxury, and we're in hard times right now. We're in really difficult times, actually, to the point where we're about to probably get a global recession declared, and there's record levels of corruption, stealing, thieving, crimes going up, and people have clung to collectibles. It's an organic, natural, damaged, shall we say, response. That's what people have done. They've clung to collectibles as holders of intrinsic value. Unfortunately, they don't have it. Most collectibles don't have it. They have some value, yes. They have some financial value. But they don't have an infinite amount of value. Ever. Nothing does. Gold and silver don't have an infinite amount of value. They have an infinite amount of potential to move up in value. But they're not scarce. They're not, they're not running out. At least not right now. Pokemon cards, it's argued, yeah, they'll run out eventually. Especially if you're doing the grading thing, and I could get into grading, but I just don't want to. Not right now, anyway. Uh, so yeah, just take a step back, like I'm doing. Like I said, I was running a relatively successful card selling business. I had made 31 sales of Pokemon cards, some of them for like quite high prices. Um, I put up for auction. People were paying what they wanted to pay. I wasn't dictating the price at all. Some people bought things for like £2 or something. That's fine. I believe in that. I think staples should be like pretty cheap. Uh, but this current explosion, this current insanity, swept that business, or what was starting to become a business, off its feet. And the business of selling collectibles right now sucks ass. Sucks so much. I think the only people who are suffering more is the LGSs that can't get the product or have to sell the product at a markup to make any money from what they have to pay for it. And they'll get abused for that. Not acceptable, but they will. So yeah, just take a step back, look at the situation, and say, is this a reasonable price for the thing I love? Is this something that I'm willing to pay 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 50 times the price for? Is it for me or is it for a business? Is it for my family member or is it for a business? Am I trying to flip it for profit? If you're trying to flip it for profit, you're in the wrong market to do it right now. It's a bad time to flip collectibles, especially video games right now. I'm not saying you can't make profit. I'm saying be careful. Your margin is going to be tightened. The amount of money that you need to make to stay operational is high, even if it's an online business. And I would argue something that doesn't get talked about anywhere near enough is the mental toll that all of this plays, the psychological damage that staying in such a toxic environment can have. And truly, it is a toxic environment. The Pokemon TCG stuff is really, really fucking toxic. It makes me miserable talking about it. Because I'm like, you had a year to prepare. And already we're talking about people are not even selling the product. They're selling the reservation to buy the product. On that front, it's going to be a nightmare for anybody who's looking to seriously actually collect or flip in this current environment. But in the end, just look at it all and just be serious with yourself. Is it worth it? Is it worth staying up at night worrying and thinking about it? Well, I guarantee, almost guarantee, unless something ridiculous happens, this will be the last time I talk about Pokemon. But it's in the context of what's going on right now with collectibles. So I think it's valid. Right now, collecting is too expensive. And we're all being priced out of the market. The people who genuinely want the thing are being priced out of the market by speculative bubbles and circular buying and selling. Well, if it's worth this much, then it must be worth this much, and then it goes around and round. And in the end, the only people who wins is the big corporations. It is all a big, massive sort of scheme to rob people of as much money as possible, in my personal view. Call that conspiratorial, but things are getting worse. People are selling less. Small businesses are shutting down. Tell me I'm wrong and give me a good reason why, and I'll believe you. Overall, just don't collect expensive things. We can't afford them. And even if you can, they're not worth the value that people are assigning to them. It is paper, it is cardboard, it is, I don't know, fabric in the case of Beanie Babies. So yeah, thank you for listening.